Om Asmatgurubhyo Namaha. Krishna Rakshatano Jagatraya Guruhu Krishnam Namasyamyaham. Krishne Namarasatro Vinihataha Krishnaya Tasmai Namaha. Krishna Deva Samuthitam Jagadidam Krishnasya Dasosmiham. Krishne Tisthati Sarvametadakhilam. He Krishna Samrakshamam. Jai Sri Narayana. With blessings of Sri Chinajaya Swamiji, we're continuing Bhagavad Gita. We finished Sloka 9 last week, 5 to 9 in chapter 12 last week. So we'll start with the review. Hope you can see.
We can see, Andy, yeah.
Okay, so first question. According to Lord Krishna, which is more difficult for embodied beings, for all of us, which is more difficult? Focusing on Atma for Atma realization or focusing on Paramatma for God realization? Paramatma is God. Which is more difficult for us?
Focusing on Atma.
Focusing on Atma.
Varprasad garu, this is something I was confused, Andy. I'm sorry, I'm asking. I mean, I listened to whole video.
Yes.
Any brief, like, చెప్పగలరా కొంచెం ఒకసారి? Why Atma is difficult?
So basically, we are we are considering ourselves as a body, right? Initially. See, one who is already reached the level of Atma realization, okay, it's not a problem for them. So, like, I'm starting the journey, okay. Now I need to either focus on Atma realization or God realization. Focusing on Atma realization means I need to come out of my natural, whatever is natural for me. What is natural for us?
Thinking that we are body.
We are body, and we are like used to enjoying the sensory objects, sensory pleasures, right? So we want to experience them. We want to, so for one who has to focus on Atma, they have to completely shut down the external sensory stimulations, right? They have to go against their body. Now, will we really be if you are used to something and then suddenly we say I should not do it? Let us say we are drinking tea every day morning. We got used to it. Suddenly somebody says you should not drink tea, then how will you feel? I mean, that's a very simple example. So for so many births, we are used to this experiencing the sensory pleasure, thinking that we are body, we are not Atma, right? So now we have to completely shut down the whatever we are used to. It becomes difficult for us to focus on Atma, because always we'll be pulled towards our senses and bodily. So senses will act definitely because they are they're built for it, right? It's, we cannot say eyes don't see something beautiful, tongue don't feel the tasty things. You cannot say that. So once it experiences it, we tend towards going in that direction, right? So it becomes difficult for us to focus inwards. So that is why Atma realization, focusing on Atma becomes difficult for us. One who has controlled the senses, one who has relinquished all the sensory pleasures, is the one who can focus on Atma. We have to simply, sit, wake up early morning and sit for say a couple of hours doing the meditation on Atma. If you are used to sleeping more, or if you are used to getting ready and then enjoying the coffee and the newspaper and things like that, it becomes difficult to sit and focus on Atma. Then you may ask, oh, then it must be difficult for you to focus on Paramatma also. Right?
Yeah, that's what I was little confused. Equally
Right.
difficult, but yeah. Paramatma.
So
Mm.
focusing on Paramatma is not asking you to shut down your senses. You're asked to redirect your senses towards Paramatma. So don't completely shut down. Don't say that I won't experience my sensory stimulations, sensory pleasures. Say if I want to eat, again, Sri Swamiji very well explained. If I want to feel like eating something really, nice, tasty food, okay, you eat, but you make it as offering to Paramatma, offer it to Paramatma, and then take it as prasadam, take it as blessings of Paramatma, and enjoy it as Paramatma's blessings. So you're not shutting down your senses. Okay, so always you're focusing on Paramatma only, even while you're experiencing that tasty food. You're thinking, I am feeding Paramatma inside me. Paramatma is the one who is enjoying. So we feel the pleasure. We don't feel like, oh, why am, it's like we don't feel like we are in a prison or something like that. Like if somebody suddenly somebody says you should not eat tasty food, you have to simply meditate 24 hours in a recluse. In a place where nobody is there. It becomes like a prison for us. For those who are not used to it. For those who are used to it, it's fine. But see, we are talking about someone who is starting their journey.
Okay.
So for us, it is Lord Krishna very clearly said, focusing on Atma for Atma realization. See, later on, Lord Krishna also says that meditate on Atma as part of your journey towards enhancing your bhakti towards Paramatma.
Mm.
However, there you are not, you are not basically focusing on Atma as your goal, right? So
Yeah.
Atma is an intermediate state through which
Right.
you are like, if somebody asks, why should I focus on Paramatma, right? Why can't I enjoy all this entire world, right? This is the only life you got. This like you are perfectly healthy. Why don't you just go out and enjoy, right? Um, we need to know that we are not body, we are Atma. So we need the knowledge of Atma. In order to get the knowledge of Atma, we need to meditate on. But we are not, again, the focus is not to reach the state of self-realization. The focus is to reach the state of God realization, knowing that we are Atma.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Next question. According to Lord Krishna, who reaches their goal more quickly? Seekers of the Atma or seekers of God?
Of God.
Seekers of God. Very good. Next question. How should one seek God as explained in chapter 12, verses 6 and 7?
Dedicating all activities to Paramatma. And
Paramatma is the goal first.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the goal and he's also means as well.
meditating on him.
Yes. So consider God as supreme goal. Dedicate all activities to God. Meditate on God. Okay. worship God with exclusive devotion and keep mind focused on God. Okay. So this is how one should seek. If I am having the goal of God, right? I'm seeking God realization. Then we need to first treat God as supreme goal. Okay. Then whatever we do, whether it could be worldly activities or spiritual activities, we need to dedicate all those activities to God. We need to meditate on God, worship with exclusive devotion. Like we are worshipping for the sake of, some pleasures or materialistic possessions and relations and all that, or for some benefit other than God. No, we need to worship God exclusively to seek Him only. That is our goal, right? Not only that, we do not worship Him as a last resort, right? Very, very important. Like if I have something, if I want something, I need to seek Paramatma's, blessings only. Exclusive. Like it's not like, oh, I can go to this person for small things, but if I cannot get anything done by my own efforts, then I go to Paramatma. Is not exclusive devotion. Okay, so it is for everything, small or big, we are always worshipping Paramatma, seeking everything from Paramatma only, irrespective of where it is coming from. Like if somebody is giving that to us, we don't think that person is giving to us by themselves, right? Independently. It is Paramatma who is blessing us through that person, right? Or through that, whatever is a, Prakriti, through Prakriti or through a person. And natural forces are, we consider them as devatas. So either through devatas or through people or to animals or through stationary things like trees and other things. So everything is given to us by Paramatma only. So worship Paramatma like that. So that is how we need to seek God. Okay. Then next question. Who grants success to seekers of God in achieving their supreme goal?
God.
God only. Right. Who grants success to Atma seekers in achieving their goal?
God.
Paramatma only, God only. Yeah, it is not like I did my meditation on, Atma. I relinquished everything, completely focused inwards, and now I'm self-realized by my own efforts. No, it is Paramatma only who will bless us with Atma realization. Even though we are not seeking Him, He is the only means for everything. He is the only one who can give us any result. Okay. Next question. What should be the states of mind and intellect of a devotee eligible for liberation from rebirth?
Constant focus on Paramatma, both mind and intellect.
Right. Yeah. Focus the mind on Paramatma, and buddhi is towards Paramatma. Buddhi entered in Paramatma is what Lord Krishna said, but that means my buddhi is completely centered on Paramatma. Okay. So whatever I do, that comes later. Yeah. So mind and buddhi are the only two. Like, what else is there? We have senses, mind, and buddhi. Senses are not mentioned here because if mind is focused on God, that mind and buddhi is towards God. Then automatically senses will listen to the mind, right? And we do the activities through our buddhi. Buddhi is the one that is determining, right? What to do, how to do. So decision making, determining what needs to happen. So that drives my mind, and mind drives the senses. Okay, senses will not run away from our goal. I mean, will not take us away from our goal. Senses will always take us towards the goal because mind is focused on God. Okay. When can we say, sorry, it's seventh, right? When can we say we have reached the highest state of bhakti?
When we are constantly able to focus on, mind and intellect on God, Paramatma.
Yes, correct. So mind and buddhi are completely focused or entered in Paramatma only. Okay. When can we say our buddhi is always centered in God?
When we can see God in everybody, everything.
Yeah.
The goal.
Right. So basically, the same, but going further, little bit further on that one. So first is we consider Paramatma is our supreme goal and perform all activities as service to God, right? And worship God with exclusive devotion. Very simple. So perform all activities as service to God. We are seeing, whenever we interact with either a person or a thing, we are not interacting thinking that they are separate from Paramatma, right? We are serving Paramatma through them, right? Whatever activity that I'm doing is service to Paramatma only. Okay, it is not like I'm serving that person exclusively, person or thing. Okay, so of course we are doing that activity, right? If I'm cooking for my family, it is cooking for the family only, but that activity is done as service to God. Okay, so one way is to see God in all of them, see God everywhere. So whenever we are serving somebody, we are serving Paramatma. It's not that they will become God. This is another thing that somebody was saying. Oh, the God is there everywhere, so all those things will become God, right? No, whatever you see outside is the body, right? So body is not body is Prakriti, not Paramatma. Okay, and there is Atma in them, and Paramatma is pervading all of them. So when I am serving them, I am doing it as service to God who is pervading everyone. They don't become God, right? Um, okay. I think 30 minutes over, so we will skip the other two questions. Okay, and we'll move on to 10th sloka. Um, Please chant. And sloka. Abhyasepya samardhosi
Abhyasepyasamardhosi
matkarma paramo bhava
Matkarma paramo bhava
madardhamapi karmani
madhyardhamapi karmani
kurvan siddhimavapsyasi.
kurvan siddhimavapsyasi.
Let's chant together.
Abhyasepyasamardhosi
Matkarma paramo bhava madardhamapi karmani kurvan
siddhimavapsyasi.
Okay. So in the previous sloka, Lord Krishna gave the first one step below the perfection in bhakti, right? One who has achieved the state of perfection in bhakti, their mind and buddhi are always focused or centered on Paramatma only. Okay. So they consider Paramatma as their supreme goal. They do all activities of service to God. They worship God with exclusive devotion. Mind is always focused on God. So their senses are all controlled. So they're in a perfect state, right? Then Lord Krishna said in the previous sloka 9, that what happens if you are not in that perfect state of bhakti, right? How do you go to that state? So if you are not able to fix your mind on Paramatma firmly, okay, our mind is wavering, right? So then Lord Krishna says in the previous sloka 9, that you desire to attain me by repeated practice of remembering me, right? So we need to constantly try to remember, so there is one is listening about Paramatma, then second is to become perfect, we need to continuously remember, right? Recollect, remember. So if mind is not always, focused on Paramatma, then we need to, I need to stop sharing. So then we need to continuously try to remember Paramatma. How we should remember is by remembering his Kalyana Gunas, right? His Vibhutis, his Kalyana Gunas. Okay? So then only our bhakti towards him will increase, right? If, I will consider somebody, I would want to be with somebody only when I know his greatness, right? And I continuously remind myself of that person's greatness. Then my willingness to be with that person will increase, right? If this is a problem nowadays, right? So if we don't think somebody is great, okay, somebody is not according to our own beliefs, that person is not great, then we don't want to be with that person, right? So if my mind is not getting focused on Paramatma, then we need to continuously recollect that Paramatma's greatness through his auspicious qualities that no one else in this universe has, right? It is not like, oh, he has power. I also have power. I can lift 20 kgs. And that is not even close, right? Paramatma's auspicious qualities are unique, and no one is equal or above Paramatma. No one is even close to Paramatma. Right? So when we know that greatness, we want to be united with Paramatma. Our bhakti towards Paramatma will increase. So continuously try to remember. Now Lord Krishna is saying, okay, somebody is he gave the solution that you need to continuously try to remember. Sloka 10, Lord Krishna is saying, Abhyase api asamardhaha asi. Okay, Abhyase api asamardhaha asi. Even if you are incapable of repetition. So you have to continuously remember Paramatma by remembering his auspicious qualities. If you are not able to do that, if you are incapable of that repetition, mat karma paramaha bhava. Become one who considers my works as supreme or most agreeable. So continuously remember, you're not doing any activity, right? You're remembering with your mind, trying to make the mind focus on Paramatma. If, let us say, we are not able to continuously remember, what we need to do? Lord Krishna is saying that do my works, okay? Do my works with love and devotion. Okay, so consider my works as supreme or most agreeable. Like, oh, I would like to serve you through your work. What is your work means? You is Paramatma there. So what is Paramatma's work?
I mean, anything what we do as service to God, right? That's what.
That will come little later.
Okay. Then otherwise, like going temple and maybe doing some work or
Yeah.
charity, anything in temple.
Yeah.
Meaning,
So works for God, examples like building temples, gardening, in the temple, making flowers, and then make the flower garlands, and then decorating to Paramatma, chanting Paramatma's names, and doing all activities that are related to temple, where we are directly close to Paramatma, right? We are not serving other people there, right? You're working, not serving other people in the sense that it is not indirect. It is directly, as we said, right? Like the deity that is in temple or even at our home, right? It's temple doesn't mean that we have to go somewhere else. In our home also, when we are doing any activity to the deity, we are directly interacting with Paramatma, not like Paramatma is inside the deity as Antaryami. No, it is Paramatma there. Okay, so like if you have Lord Venkateshwara, Lord Sri Rama, Lord Sri Krishna, deities. Okay, so you are doing some activity for those deities. You're doing you're chanting the stotara, or you're cooking food for Paramatma. You're offering food to Paramatma. You're doing the abhishekam. You're doing decorations. Anything that you do to Paramatma is Paramatma's work. So if you are not able to continuously remember that Paramatma's divine qualities, you do the activities for Paramatma, right? And the activity that we are doing right now is also directly Paramatma's work only, right? Right now we are in the satsang. We are trying to understand what Lord Krishna said as part of Bhagavad Gita. So we are doing his work, distributing that knowledge to everyone. Paramatma is is enabling us to distribute not only in this session, but later on, if whoever is able to see this recording, they're all they're getting Paramatma's message, right? So we are doing Paramatma's work directly. So Lord Krishna is saying, if you are not able to continuously remember my glory, then do my work. Consider my works as supreme. Matardham karmani kurvannapi. Even doing works for my sake, siddhim avapsyasi, you will attain perfection. Success, siddhi is success, right? Siddhi in, so success in our goal, right? That is our goal. Reaching Paramatma, God realization is our goal. So if we do the works of Paramatma with love, with devotion, okay, then even that work also will take us towards our goal. Okay. Any questions? If not, I'll move on to Sloka 11. Please chant. Athaitatapyasektosi
Athaitatapyasaktosi
kartum madyogamasritah
कर्तुं
मद्योगमाश्रितः
मद्योगमाश्रितः
सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं
सर्वकर्मफलत्यागम्
सर्वकर्मफलत्यागम्
ततः कुरु यतात्मवान्
ततः
ततः
कुरु
कुरु यथात्मवान्
यथात्मवान्
Let's chant together.
अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि
अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं
कर्तुं
मद्योगमाश्रितः
मद्योगमाश्रितः
सर्वकर्मफलत्यागम्
सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं
ततः
ततः
कुरु
ततः कुरु
कुरु
यथात्मवान्
यथात्मवान्
So Lord Krishna is so, gracious. He's not like one who will say, I'll give you this, this method. You have to practice that, no matter you're capable of practicing that or not. I don't care. He's not like that, right? He's giving this knowledge to everyone at every level. Wherever we are, we will be able to start our journey towards Paramatma. Okay, it's the message is not just for those who are already having bhakti and already in the state where they have relinquished all the worldly activities, and then only focused on Paramatma. No, it is for everyone. This message is for everyone. So Lord Krishna is saying, Atha, if etatapi kartum asektaha asi, even if you are incapable to do even this what? The previous sloka, Lord Krishna said, even this God's work, right? So first is perfection bhakti. Second is you are continuously remembering Paramatma's glory, Paramatma's vibhuti, Paramatma's auspicious qualities. If you are not able to do that, at least do my work, God's work, as most agreeable to you, right? Do with love. If you're, even if in this particular sloka, Lord Krishna is saying, if you're incapable of even this, doing God's work, right? You are not able to go to temple, you're not able to do abhishekam, do the puja, or like do the satsang, or chant the names of Paramatma, say Vishnu Sahasranama. Every day we have Vishnu Sahasranama chanting at 6 o'clock in the telebridge. Okay, so we can chant along with Swamis. If you are not able to do that, then Mat Yogam Asritaha, taking refuge in my yogam, in Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so this is connected to the previous. If you are not able to do the work of Paramatma, do God's work, taking refuge in Bhakti Yoga. Okay, then Tataha, then Yatatmavan, with controlled mind, what we need to do? Sarva Karma Phala Tyagam Kuru. Tatah Kuru Sarva Karma Phala Tyagam Yatatmavan. Do give up the fruits of all actions. Sarva Karma Phala Tyagam. So do your activities. Now God is not talking about do my activities. Whatever you want to do, which is a righteous activity for you, do it. Right? If let us say we could be software professional, doctors or teachers or whatever is our activity, that is our professional activity. Whatever we are doing for our families, our society, whatever actions that we are doing, how we need to do? Giving up the fruits of all actions. Okay. So what is giving up fruits of all actions means?
Karma Yoga.
Yeah. Perform Karma Yoga. Okay. So we have to, if we are not able to do Paramatma's work, which is directly you're working, with Paramatma in DT form or in other forms, if you're not able to do that, then do your actions, but give up the fruits of your actions. Okay. What happens if we perform all our actions, giving up the fruits of our actions?
Karmic bondage reduces.
Sorry?
Oh, karmic bondage reduces.
Perfect. Yes. So perform all activities as service to God. Okay. So Karma Yoga, very simple. I, me, mine, God, right? I am doing activity, my activity, the result is for me. This is how we do the activities typically. But as part of Karma Yoga, if I'm doing Karma Phala Tyaga, right? I am just an instrument in Paramatma's hand. I am doing his activity, and the results are for him. Whatever result I get, okay, is given to me by Paramatma, not my action is producing the result, but Paramatma is blessing me that result, and I experience it as his blessings. So that is how we do the Karma Yoga. So Lord Krishna is saying, perform Karma Yoga. So the steps, what are the steps? Perform all actions as his worship, not craving for reward. Like typically we want something, want a result, and that's how we start performing our action, right? With expectation. Don't do with expectation. You can have, then again, we're repeating, but somebody says, oh, okay, if you are not having expectations, then you will not be able to do the work properly. We differentiated between having the expectation on a particular result from the goal that we have for a particular, whatever activity that we are doing, there's a goal for us, but we have no expectation that the result will be what we want, right? What is suitable for me. Okay. So if the result doesn't come, and then I will start crying. No. If the result comes, I will start jumping up and down. No. So I'm having a goal for any activity that I do. I do the activity. Now, whatever result comes is I'm going to accept it without any um, ups and downs, right? So that is the first step. So if we have to, um, proceed in perfect, becoming perfect in our bhakti, to go closer to Paramatma, right? Starts with Karma Yoga, right? So now things are very clear. Like, why did Paramatma talk about Karma Yoga in the beginning? If Bhakti is the only means to achieve Paramatma. Somebody may ask that question, right? Like, all that knowledge is waste, isn't it? If I tell just Bhakti Yoga is the means to achieve Paramatma, then you may say, why did you waste 2 years of my time? Because it took 2 years for us to come here, right? So you could have simply taught me, what is Bhakti Yoga, and that's it. And I could have, practiced it and achieved Paramatma through that. It doesn't work that way. We are not capable of. Last session we learned, right? Like, if the fruit is not ripened, you try to eat, you will throw the fruit out. You cannot eat it. And it will not, even if you eat it, it will give you some bad result. Okay. So, but we need to make the fruit ripen. And Lord Krishna gave us the steps to go to that state of perfection. We will not be able to reach that perfect state unless we start with the most basic, which is Karma Yoga. Okay. So start with Karma Yoga. Then, since our sins, which is our karmic bondage, will start getting cleared. Okay. Then our mind starts, getting into a state of balance, right? So balance of the mind. Then we can start meditating, right? On day one, if you say meditate on Atma, you will not be able to. But once we start practicing Karma Yoga, our karmic bondage is getting cleared. Then we will be in a state to meditate on Atma. Okay. Then develop Atma Jnana. Okay. Why we need to develop Atma Jnana is realizing that we are Atma, and Atma is solely dependent on Paramatma, and we belong to him. Okay. and then perform the works of God for His pleasure. So that is the third step, right? So now we are doing all our activities, Karma Yoga. Then we are able to get Atma Jnanam, and then we realize, oh, I am dependent on Paramatma. I belong to Him. Now I'll be able to do the activities for Him with love, with devotion, without having any expectations in return. Okay. Then while doing those activities, once we start doing the activities, then we go to the next step of sitting somewhere, or even while doing the activities, we continuously remember Paramatma with exceeding love, right? Completely filled with love. We don't feel like, oh, I'm doing this, right? So we cannot stop remembering Paramatma. Then once we start doing that, our mind is completely focused on Paramatma, and then our buddhi is also centered in Paramatma. We are going to consider him as the supreme goal. Okay, and then we will not waver. Like once it gets fixed, right? Buddhi and mind gets fixed on Paramatma. He is our supreme goal. Then it will not go somewhere else. Okay, so that is the state of the actual bhakti, which will lead us to Paramatma. Not thinking, oh, okay, I go to temple every Sunday or Saturday, and or whenever some event occurs, and then I pray to God, and then after the after the event is over, then we are back to normal. We're doing all our activities for our own self, right? Then that is, yeah, we have bhakti only that 15 minutes, 20 minutes. If we are really lucky, maybe a few seconds. And if you are really lucky, few seconds at this time. So it has to go from few seconds to minutes to hours to days, and it should become continuous. Whenever we are doing any activity, our mind is always focused on Paramatma, and our buddhi is focused towards Paramatma. Okay. So to reach that state, we have to start from Karma Yoga. Karma Phala Tyaga is another word for Karma Yoga. Okay. Share my screen again. So I just mentioned these points right now. I gave it here for reference. Okay. Next sloka. Any questions before we proceed?
Good.
Okay. Sloka 12. Please chant. Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat.
Shreyo
हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात्
Jnanat dhyanam visishyate.
ज्ञानात् विशिष्यते
Dhyanat karma phala tyagah.
ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः
Tyagat shantiranantaram.
त्यागाच्चान्तिरनन्तरम्
Let's chant together. Shreyo
Shreyo
jnanamabhyasat
ज्ञानमभ्यासात्
jnanadhyanam
Jnanadhyanam
visishyate
Vishishyate
ध्यानात्
Dhyyanat
dhyanat
Karma
karma
Phala
phala
Tyagaha
tyagaha
Tyagat
tyagat
Shantiranantaram.
one of the very important slokas. Okay, so Lord Krishna is saying, Abhyasat Jnanam Sreyaha. Sreyaha I Jnanam Abhyasat. First line. He's saying Jnanam is knowledge. Abhyasat is then practice. So Sreyaha is better. What is he saying? Saying knowledge of the self. Jnanam here is knowledge of the self is certainly better than Abhyasa. Abhyasa here is a repeated practice of remembrance of the Lord. Okay? This is one of the important slokas which can be misunderstood. Other, if you don't understand, I mean, if you don't really try to understand it, right? So, what Lord Krishna is saying is knowledge of the self that leads to welfare of Atma. Okay? Our welfare of Atma is what?
That we think it's not a body. We
Yeah. I mean, ultimate is to reach God realization, right? So to reach that state, like we need to clear ourselves from the karmic bondage. Okay, so knowledge of the self will not make us increase our karmic bondage. If I don't have the knowledge of the self, knowledge of Atma, if I think I am body, any activity and every activity, whether it is good activity, bad activity, legal activity, illegal activity, whatever it is, whether it's my daily activity or periodic activity, doesn't matter. If I am doing thinking that I am body and I am doing this activity, I'm getting karmic bondage. Okay, so as the karmic bondage increases, we have to take continuous rebirths again and again to experience that karmic bondage, right? So knowledge of the Atma is essential for us to, for our welfare of Atma. Okay. So if I consider I am Atma, and then I think, okay, why am I here in this body? Because of karmic bondage. Okay, I need to get rid of karmic bondage. How I can get rid of karmic? So all that will start, right? So that knowledge of the self is better than repeated practice of remembering of Lord. So a little bit, uh, to achieve the final state of bhakti, right? The one step below that is repeated practice of remembering of Lord. But here, Lord Krishna is saying, oh, knowledge is better than the practice. Why?
All stepping stones are like basic steps.
Right. Knowledge of the self is certainly better than repeated practice of remembering of Lord for those who find it hard. Okay. So if I am not able to continuously remember Paramatma's auspicious qualities and experience Paramatma, the one step below where my mind is completely focused on Paramatma, my buddhi is focused on Paramatma or entered in Paramatma. So one step below that, if it is hard for me to be in that state, right? If then knowledge of the self is better. Okay. So if let us say if I take a stick and then make somebody sit somewhere and then say, now you do it, now you remember Paramatma, now you continuously chant for an hour, And then if you're turning this side or that side or open your eyes, then I'm going to hit you. Will that person be able to do? Is it going to be effective? No, right? So it's not giving the actual result that we want. So knowledge, so for a person who cannot do the continuous remembering of Paramatma, then for that person, knowledge of the self is better, right? Okay. Then Lord Krishna is saying, Jnanat dhyanam visishyate. Dhyanam is meditation. The meditation on Atma is considered visishyate, considered higher than Jnanam, higher than the Atma knowledge, right? So if I don't have Atma knowledge, then how do I get it? Meditation on Atma. Okay. Meditation on Atma is considered higher than Atma knowledge. Doesn't mean that don't have the Atma knowledge, only do the meditation. No. If I don't have it, if I'm not at that state of having the complete knowledge of the self, then meditate on Atma. Okay. Lord Krishna is saying again, Dhyanat Karma Phala Tyaga visishyate. Dhyanat Karma Phala Tyaga. Giving up the fruits of actions is considered better than meditation. If someone is not able to sit and then meditate on Atma, all right, what is the next step? You cannot sit and meditate on Atma, you don't have Atma knowledge, and then you cannot do the repeated remembrance of Paramatma's auspicious qualities. It becomes hard for you. Like if somebody tries to make it, it becomes like a punishment. It is not done with love, with devotion. So for that person, giving up the fruits of actions is considered better than meditation. Lord Krishna is finally saying, Tyagat Santiranantaram. From that giving up the fruits of actions, Santihi, peace, follows. Okay? Peace is, very vague word, right? What is peace? Basically, a state of mind without raga and dvesha. Okay? So if I am able to do all my activities as karma yoga, then my mind is freed from the raga and dvesha. Okay? So I'm at a mental peace. I don't get disturbed, right? So that is the reason why, again, going back, Lord Krishna suggested us to start with Karma Yoga. And Karma Yoga is better than Jnana Yoga, somewhere in the previous lab we learned, right? So even though Jnana is at a higher state than Karma Yoga, very clearly given in this particular sloka, right? So your perfection in bhakti will lead you to Paramatma. You will achieve your state, whatever is your goal, right? But if you are not able to have, you're not at that level, you continuously remember Paramatma. Not able to do that, then next step is knowledge of the self, right? If you don't have the knowledge of the self, you have to do the meditation on Atma. And if you cannot do meditation on Atma, so meditation on Atma and knowledge of the self is like Jnana Yoga talking about. So if you're not at that state, okay, then Karma Yoga, perform Karma Yoga. Then when we perform Karma Yoga, then we will reach a state of getting Atma knowledge, then we'll reach a state where we can practice whatever principles that Paramatma gave to enhance our bhakti. And then finally we'll get perfection in bhakti. And from there we will get the, our supreme goal. We'll be able to attain our supreme goal. Okay. So what is the summary then? I'll share the screen. So sequence of steps to develop bhakti. Okay. Karma yoga first. Giving up the fruits of actions. It destroys our sins that we are carrying since ages. All our previous births and this birth. So if we are practicing karma yoga, then it will destroy our sins, our karmic bondage, which leads to get peace of mind. Okay. It's not that the karma yoga, we performed karma yoga, that's why I got peace of mind. No, it's Lord Krishna is blessing us with it. When the mind is peaceful, meditation on the self can be accomplished. Our mind doesn't run away, with the hatred or, attractions and all that. Raga and Dvesha, when they're gone, we're able to meditate. Like Badrigaru just mentioned right at the beginning. So even though everything, elections and results and all those are going on, the mind is at a steady state, in a peaceful state where no raga and dvesha are there, then we are able to meditate, without getting affected. From that meditation, knowledge of the self develops. From that knowledge of the self, bhakti develops. Okay. So this is the sequence. Karma yoga, Jnana yoga, and Bhakti yoga. Okay.
Completely
But
different. For me, what happened was, I have Sanskrit exam, Sanskrit, I'm focusing, that become priority than anything else. Oh, why I'm not getting good marks in Sanskrit? So that's became my Balaji was just talking before the class, and that focus is on that one. So this has become low priority for us. These things, more Sanskrit became a higher priority. We want.
so basically, see that how Lord Krishna said, like if you are doing God's works or doing the work as a service to God, our mind is not wandering in other places, right? Raga and Desha and all that. So we are getting and we are focusing on the right things.
Right.
See, if you are not at the highest level of bhakti, Lord Krishna gave us steps on how we can reach that state without, losing our path, without getting karmic bondage, right? But finally we'll reach there. Somebody may be at like by birth, they may be at a higher level. So for them, it is not a problem directly. They very quickly they'll go into perfection in bhakti. Someone they don't have any problem in meditation and get atma realization, self realization. They have no problem. So for them, like all these materialistic things will not bother them. They're focused on their atma. Even though they are in the body, right? The body is the senses are all under control, right? So they have no problem again. Then if we don't, then if we are at level 0. Level 0 is not, we're not performing any karma yoga. Level 1 is okay. We learn how to do our activities. Then we start doing the activities. Level 1 is karma yoga. Level 2 jnana yoga, and Level 3, Bhakti Yoga. But Karma Yoga cannot be performed without the knowledge of Atma and without knowledge of Paramatma, right? Obviously, right? I'm doing an activity as Paramatma's activity, so I have to know Paramatma and accept it. Otherwise, how can I do Karma Yoga? But I'm not continuously remembering. I'm doing my activity. I mean, I'm doing that activity, right? So it is not continuously in that state of remembering Paramatma without, I mean, by keeping ourselves completely away from the sensory objects. We are dealing with sensory objects, we're doing all our activities, but we are considering them as Paramatma's activities, as results for Paramatma, results given to us by Paramatma, and all that. So to do Karma Yoga also, we need to have the knowledge of Atma, knowledge of Paramatma. But they take, like side. Main focus is Karma Yoga, and then just a little bit knowledge of the self and little bit knowledge of Paramatma. Then once we go into the knowledge, I mean the next level of Jnana Yoga, then the focus mainly on Jnana. We are able to sit, meditate, right? Meditate on the self, and then self-realization. So there we are doing the activity. It's not that we can always 24/7, 365 days in a year sit and then do the meditation. We are going to do other activities. Those will perform them as Karma Yoga only. We will not get rid of Karma Yoga. But the focus is on meditation. More focus is on developing our knowledge of the self, right? Then once we cross that level also, then all the activities we are doing for Paramatma, directly Paramatma only. Okay. Again with Bhakti, we are still doing the activities with as Karma Yoga. We're still not losing ourselves, right? We are not losing our knowledge that we are Atma. We still have them, but we are more focused on Paramatma only. Now the goal is purely Paramatma. And we don't suddenly say, when we see some, money or beautiful houses and all that, really doesn't matter for us in that state.
I think that's what probably. I think you answered the question, and I was thinking about this, right? Because meditation, Atma is higher than Atma Jnana, right? So I think what it meant probably is because I thought that to meditate on Atma, you need Atma Jnana, but you can't really continuously, right? Remember that. That's why I think continuous meditating on Atma will help you to remember right yourself Atma, right? That's what I think. Right? That's like
Right.
you said.
See, I'll give example, right? How many again? We don't remember that we are breathing.
Yeah, etc. Yeah,
right?
That's classic.
Okay, but we are breathing, right? So imagine a state where, like we are doing all our activities, but we are not forgetting who we are. That I am Atma. How will you get like? Any activity that you are doing throughout the day, how many times do we remember that I am Atma and I am performing this activity as service to God?
Yeah, right. No, it's not. I mean, I don't, yeah.
How many? So we forget.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Right. I mean, at least I forget totally. Yeah.
So that means we need to really develop our knowledge of the self, right?
Yeah.
Suddenly somebody criticizes us. you criticize me like that, or somebody. I mean, we forget that we are Atma completely, right? While sitting in a class, it's always good, right? I'm Atma and my goal is Paramatma and all that. But when as soon as the book is closed, we're back to normal.
Yeah.
So how do I reach a state where continuously we are always remembering I am Atma?
Meditation.
You have to meditate. So that's why meditation is better than knowledge of the self. Doesn't mean that knowledge of the self is inferior
You
compared
don't
to
not
meditation.
required, right? Exactly. Yeah.
For someone who is not able to remember that they are the self, Atma, for them, meditation is better. Meditation is like practicing that I am Atma. Okay. Once we reach the state of self realization, then I'm not going to forget any activity that as soon as something happens, I'll treat body separate. I'm Atma. This is body. I'm staying in this body. And whenever I see something outside, also, it is all bodies, but Atmas inside them. So we'll never forget, right? To reach that state, meditation is needed. So to remember that we are always breathing, for example, we have to meditate on breathing.
Yeah.
Then we probably remember that we are breathing. No, of course, there's no use for that. It doesn't matter whether we remember and breathe or we don't remember and breathe. It's fine. But basically, it's a way of meditation. And when we are meditating, we focus on our breathing so that our mind doesn't wander, right? But if you want to remember Paramatma, remember Atma, do the meditation.
Yeah. Right. I
Right.
mean, every day I keep thinking I want to thank God for breathing, right? But morning I do pray to God, but I don't remember the breathing kind of a thing. It doesn't come naturally, right? Though I'm breathing, it doesn't come naturally, right? Because I do, though, unless
Yeah, any activity that we are doing, we don't remember we are Atma inside,
right.
right? We take it for granted, or we forget,
Yeah.
basically. We think we are body only. So it is because Atma is present in this body, that's why it is functioning. If Atma is not there, it is not function, and all this. So to remember that, and once we have that knowledge of the self completely fixed in us, right? Then we are able to go to the next level of praying to Paramatma because we belong to him. Atma belongs to him. Then that devotion will increase. Otherwise, it is, if I'm considering myself as body, I'm praying to God, I'm going to ask for what the body needs, right? So if I remember I'm Atma and then I pray to God, then I'm going to ask God only, because all the material doesn't matter for Atma. Should we continue, or will probably conclude? Only 4 minutes left.
Let's do a recap of this 400. This, if not
Yeah.
this, I think one more time.
Yeah. So basically, Lord Krishna is saying that in order to reach the state of perfection in bhakti, we need to perform karma phala tyaga. We need to do our activities without expectations, relinquishing the results, right, to Paramatma, right? So do the activities as karma yoga. Then karma yoga will clear our karmic bondage, we will basically reach a state where we are not affected by the results. See, the one more thing is that karma yoga, when we practice karma yoga, the result, whatever is the result, we accept it, right? So, I mean, there's a message for us today. I was telling, right? Like, I hope the result is going to be good, but whatever is the result is Paramatma's blessings, right? So we take that result without getting affected, without raga and dvesha. The result is beneficial for me, or result is not beneficial for me. Okay, that won't be there, right? Beneficial in the sense I had an expectation that I will get a certain result. Then if I don't get that result, I don't think that it is beneficial for me, right? At that moment, like if somebody misses a flight, I think, oh my God, the result is not beneficial for me. But what if the flight gets delayed? You know, I don't want to take extreme example, but the flight is just delayed. For everyone who is on the flight, they have to sit on the tarmac for 6 hours. Things have happened like that. We'll feel happy. Oh my God, I was not in that situation, right? So whatever is the result, we take it without getting affected by it. Simply move on, right? We did our duty. We get some result. That result may match our goal, may not match our goal. Like when we go to airport to catch a flight, the goal is to actually get into the flight. It's not that we are not getting into a flight, is that, right? We know that is a goal, but whether we actually get into the flight or the flight gets cancelled is not in our hands, right? So when we don't get the flight, our mind is, we don't start shouting at people, feeling uncomfortable and all that, isn't it? So that is not losing peace of mind, right? So if I'm doing activities as karma yoga, my mind is always at peace. I accept the results. Okay. Then when our mind is at peace, we are actually able to meditate, focus on what is our goal, isn't it? Otherwise, we will see. My goal is supreme, Paramatma only, right? If my goal is Paramatma, then all these other things are intermediate things, right? Whether I get the intermediate result or not has no effect on my whether I'll get the final, whether I'll reach the supreme goal or not. There's one more thing that people say, oh, I am praying to God, but I am getting all these problems, right? I am, let us say, I consider myself as a disciple of a particular acharya, or guru, and I still have problems. Okay, so why am I doing this? Or maybe this acharya or guru has no, like I don't have to follow. Or whoever is following is having problems. This kind of things will come, right? We forget the fact that the goal is separate. Our supreme, our goal is Paramatma. Whether we are materially getting benefited or not, should not. It has no like effect on the supreme goal. Maybe we are on our fast track towards supreme goal. Okay, our sins are getting cleared. We are on our way to perfection in bhakti and reach Paramatma. Maybe we are on the fast track, but we may be still facing problems like the worldly problems. Unfortunately, what happens is we suddenly open our, we think that we open our mind and then, oh my God, I'm facing all these problems. Let me fix these problems. But so that should not be our, we should never get into that. We are following Bhagavad Gita principles. We are on our way to reach Paramatma quickly. I mean, reach Paramatma in the sense we will be getting into a state that is equivalent to Paramatma and not getting births again and again. That state we are definitely on our fast track. But because of our past karmas, we may still be going through hardships in this life. Okay, just because I'm practicing the Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga principles, all those will go away, will never go away. We will be able to handle them with a handle them in a different way without losing peace of mind, right? So if we are facing hardships, we'll think because of my karmic bondage, I'm facing this issue. But doesn't mean that I'm not on my way to my final goal. Okay, I'm probably approaching my final goal, so I shouldn't be shifting my focus to addressing these problems. Okay, anyway, so peace of mind. Once we have the peace of mind, then we are able to do the meditation on Atma. And from that, knowledge of the self will develop. From knowledge of the self, knowledge of the bhakti will develop. The pure bhakti will develop. Then we will not be seeking anything other than Paramatma. Then we will do all the activities as Paramatma's activities, right? Okay, so that is the sequence of steps. Now, we are slightly over time. So the at the end, Lord Krishna is saying, Karma Phala Tyaga is the best, right? For us, if we are starting from the 0th level, level 1 is Karma Phala Tyaga, and Lord Krishna gave how we need to, and what kind of qualities we need to develop in order to do the Karma Phala Tyaga, in order to do Karma Yoga. It's easy to say, oh, you have to, your Atma, you're doing Paramatma's activity for sake of Paramatma, right? It's easy to say, but how can I, as soon as I start doing the activity, that knowledge is gone. So what kind of qualities that I need to develop so that I will be able to perform any activity as Karma Yoga? Next 7 slokas, Lord Krishna gives the answer for those. So if someone says, okay, how can you perform Karma Yoga? The answer is, somewhere all over the place, but these 7 slokas in chapter 12, though chapter 12 is called Bhakti Yoga, Lord Krishna mentioned about the qualities that one needs to develop for Karma Yoga, for performing Karma Yoga, is given actually in Bhakti Yoga chapter. Because that is the basic. No point in talking about, too much about Bhakti Yoga if we are in level 1, right? So, but once we start practicing, we will go to the perfection in Bhakti. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll conclude with the concluding prayer. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यच्चत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणाय समर्पयामि श्रीमन्नारायणाय समर्पयामि
श्रीकृष्ण
सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु ओम अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः जय श्रीमन्नारायण
Thank you, sir.
जय श्रीमन्नारायण थैंक यू सो मच
Thank you very much.
थैंक यू
Jai Shriman